Pain is the one thing you cannot lie to. Not with words, not with excuses, not with the stories you tell the world or the stories you tell yourself. Pain cuts through every illusion and shows you the truth you've tried to avoid. People think strength is built in comfort, in ease, in smooth days where nothing challenges them. But comfort never reveals your character. Pain does. Pain is the mirror that exposes the part of you you'd rather keep hidden. When life presses hard and the pressure rises, that is when the real you appears. Not the version you post online, not the version you pretend to be, but the version that emerges when everything soft is stripped away. Pain is honest. It doesn't care about your plans, your ambitions, your self-image. It doesn't negotiate. It doesn't flatter. It confronts. It forces you to see whether discipline is real or just something you talk about. Pain reveals your instinct. Do you run? Do you freeze? Do you break? Or do you stand in the fire long enough to become forged by it? Most men fold because they were raised by comfort, not challenge. They were fed softness and taught to fear adversity. But the truth is simple. Pain doesn't make you weaker. It shows you that you are weak so you can become stronger. It exposes the gap between who you think you are and who you actually are. You find out who you are the moment the world stops being gentle, when things fall apart, when plans collapse, when expectations break, when the weight of responsibility crushes the version of you that wasn't built to carry anything. Pain unmasks you. It strips away entitlement. It strips away fantasy. It strips away the soft identity you built from ease and replaces it with the raw truth. A truth that either destroys you or becomes the foundation of the man you must become. Pain is not the enemy. Pain is the test. Not the punishment, the purification. It burns away the parts of you that cannot survive the life you want. It removes the pieces that were never meant to stay. You say you want discipline. Pain asks, how much? You say you want strength. Pain asks, at what cost? You say you want to change. Pain asks, will you endure the fire required to become someone else? Pain reveals your thresholds, not the ones you talk about, the real ones. The line where you break, the line where you quit, the line where you start bargaining with your own weakness. And when you look closely, you will see something heartbreaking. Not that pain is too strong, but that your identity has been too soft for too long. Pain isn't there to hurt you. It is there to show you what needs to die so the rest of you can grow. In Chapter 2, you will see where pain comes from. Not the physical kind, but the internal pain that shapes your spirit and exposes the truth you've been running from. Pain does not come from the world first. It comes from inside you, from the expectations you build, from the standards you never met, from the promises you broke quietly when no one was watching. Pain begins the moment the story you tell yourself no longer matches the reality you live in. That gap between who you pretend to be and who you actually are is the birthplace of suffering. It begins with a memory. The memory of every time you backed away, every time you hesitated, every time you chose comfort over courage. Those memories do not fade. They compound. They gather in your chest like stones you carry everywhere. Pain forms in repetition. A small lie repeated, a small retreat repeated, a small avoidance repeated, until eventually it becomes part of you. Not a moment, an identity. You don't just feel weak. You become someone who expects himself to be weak. Pain forms when effort meets truth, when you finally push hard enough to see your actual limits. Not the limits you talk about or imagine. The real ones. The ones you face when your lungs burn, your will cracks, and every instinct demands you stop. Pain forms on the days you try to change but collide with the version of yourself that refuses to evolve. You feel pulled between the man you are and the man you want to be, and that tension splits you open from the inside. Pain forms when the world pushes, and you realize you are not as strong as you thought. You thought discipline was firm, until stress broke it. You thought your mind was steady, until pressure shattered it. You thought your identity was solid, until difficulty revealed how soft it actually was. Pain comes from identity friction. The part of you that wants comfort fights the part of you that wants greatness. The part of you that wants to evolve fights the part of you that fears the death of old habits. And every battle fought inside your own skull leaves scars you pretend not to feel. Pain grows in silence, in the moments you don't talk about, the nights you lie awake knowing you could have been more, the mornings you wake knowing you should have done more, the days you realize nothing external is stopping you except the version of you that refuses to die. Pain grows when you watch others rise while you stay the same. When you watch someone with less talent, less skill, less advantage outwork you and outrun you. Nothing hurts more than seeing proof that your excuses were lies. Pain grows when you fail to live up to your own potential. You might hide it from the world, but you cannot hide it from yourself. There is a quiet shame that settles in your bones when you know you could be extraordinary, but choose the ordinary instead. Pain is not just sensation, it is communication. It is your mind telling you that the life you are living is too small for the man you are capable of being. It is the alarm bell of the spirit. In Chapter 3, you will see how pain does not just expose weakness, it exposes truth, and truth is the only foundation on which real strength can be built. Pain does not just hurt you, it reveals you. It shows you the truths you were too distracted, too comfortable, or too afraid to admit. Pain exposes your limits, not the ones you speak of, the real ones. The line where you break, the line where your voice shakes, the line where your ambition no longer matches your endurance. In comfort, you think you are disciplined. In difficulty, you find out if it is true. Pain strips away the illusion you built about your strength and shows you the exact places where you are still fragile. Pain exposes your excuses. When the pressure rises, they come out instantly. I'm tired. I've done enough. I can't keep going. Excuses that feel logical, but are really self-protection wearing a mask. Pain exposes your loyalty. Do you stay loyal to your purpose or to your comfort? When everything gets heavy, you discover what you actually value. Your actions tell the truth your words cannot hide. Pain exposes your patience. Not the patience you pretend to have, but the patience required to endure slow, quiet growth without praise, without attention, without reward. Pain exposes your faith in yourself. Most men only believe in themselves when life is soft, but belief means nothing until it survives difficulty. If your confidence collapses under pain, it was never confidence, thus just convenience. Pain exposes your integrity. Do you keep your promise to yourself when it hurts? When you're exhausted? When everything inside you begs for the easy path? Integrity means nothing until it is tested under pressure. Pain exposes the gap between your potential and your discipline. Talent means nothing here. Ambition means nothing here. Only the man willing to endure discomfort long enough to become someone else survives this truth. Pain exposes your relationship with difficulty. Weak men avoid it. Soft men resent it. Strong men use it. Warriors grow from it. Pain is the language spoken only by those committed to their evolution. Pain exposes what must die in you. Old habits, old identities, old patterns that once felt safe but now suffocate your growth. Pain does not come to destroy you. It comes to remove everything in you that cannot follow you forward. Pain exposes what you truly want, not the things you talk about when life is easy, the things you are willing to suffer for, what you are willing to bleed for, what you are willing to endure for. That is your real desire, your real purpose, your real identity. In Chapter 4, you will learn the process, the transformation that takes place when a man chooses not just to feel pain, but to face it, accept it, and let it forge him into something unbreakable. Pain does not change you instantly. It transforms you in stages, slowly, silently, through a process that breaks you down only to rebuild you stronger. The first stage is confrontation. This is where you stop running, where you stop pretending you're fine, where you finally face the truth you tried to bury. Pain cornered you, and now you must decide whether to collapse or confront. Confrontation hurts because it exposes you. It makes you look directly at the weaknesses you spent years avoiding. It forces you to admit that you are not as disciplined as you believed, not as strong as you imagined, not as focused as you claimed. The second stage is endurance. Once you confront the pain, you must stand inside it. Endurance is not staying calm. It is staying present. It is refusing to run even when every nerve in your body begs for escape. Endurance is where most men fall, not because the pain is unbearable, but because they have never trained their mind to stay. They think difficulty is a sign to stop. But endurance teaches you that difficulty is a signal to hold your ground. Pain stretches you. It widens your capacity. Each second you endure is a second expanding the amount of pressure your spirit can tolerate. You don't become stronger by avoiding pain. You become stronger by learning to remain inside the fire without flinching. The third stage is reconstruction. This is where pain begins to build instead of break. It is the moment your identity adjusts to the weight it once feared, where new strength grows in the very places that once collapsed. Reconstruction is subtle. It happens in silence. You won't notice it at first. But one morning, you will rise faster. One challenge, you will react calmer. One conflict, you will stand steadier. Not because the world changed, because you did. Pain reorganizes your priorities. What mattered before loses its power. What distracted you loses its appeal. What used to trigger you barely touches you. You stop chasing noise because the fire inside you burns louder than anything outside. Pain rebuilds discipline. It turns habits into instincts. It turns effort into identity. It sharpens your focus like the edge of a blade forged in the hottest flame. Pain reconstructs your perception of self. You stop seeing yourself as fragile. You stop seeing yourself as inconsistent. You stop seeing yourself as someone who collapses. You begin to see yourself as a man who endures, adapts, rises. Pain does not make you fearless. It makes you steady. Steady enough to face fear without flinching. Steady enough to walk into difficulty without confusion. Steady enough to hold yourself together when everything else tries to pull you apart. In Chapter 5, you will see how this transformation plays out in real moments. The visible signs that pain is no longer breaking you, but building you into someone immovable. You don't notice transformation when you look in the mirror. You notice it in the way you respond when everything hurts. Pain shows you you are changing long before anyone else sees it. The first sign is calm under pressure. Not a fake calm where you pretend you're fine, but a deep, controlled stillness that rises from discipline. Your body shakes, your mind strains, but something inside you refuses to panic. That is growth. The second sign is Clarity in difficulty. Pain no longer confuses you. It focuses you. It sharpens your thoughts, narrows your priorities, strips away distractions until only purpose remains. The third sign is reduced reaction. What used to trigger you no longer moves you. Annoyances feel small. Discomfort feels normal. You stop breaking over things that once shattered you. This is the quiet strength that only pain can build. The fourth sign is faster recovery. You don't stay down as long. You rise quicker. You repair quicker. Pain stops being a room you live in and becomes a doorway you walk through. The fifth sign is consistency under stress. Most men are disciplined only when conditions are perfect, but when pain builds you, you remain disciplined even when everything goes wrong. Your standards survive through exhaustion, through pressure, through storms. The sixth sign is silence replacing panic. You stop spiraling. You stop exaggerating. You stop running. Your mind becomes a place where chaos enters, but does not stay. The seventh sign is identity shift. You stop seeing yourself as someone who tries and start seeing yourself as someone who endures. The pain that once broke you becomes evidence that you are stronger than you ever allowed yourself to believe. The eighth sign is increased capacity. What used to exhaust you feels manageable. What used to intimidate you feels possible. What used to overwhelm you now feels like training. Pain expands your strength long before strength becomes visible. The ninth sign is emotional coldness. Not numbness, but control. You feel the emotion, but you do not let it lead. Your reactions slow. Your decisions sharpen. Your presence deepens. The 10th sign is less dependence on motivation. You stop waiting for a good mood. You stop waiting for energy. You stop waiting for readiness. You act because action has become identity. You rise because rising has become law. The 11th sign is respect for difficulty. You no longer avoid it. You move toward it. Not recklessly, but with certainty. Difficulty becomes the path, not the obstacle. This shift alone separates the ordinary from the disciplined. And the 12th sign is the most important. Pain feels familiar. Not comfortable, but familiar. You recognize it. You stand inside it. You know it will pass, and you know you will walk out stronger than you entered. Pain is not something you endure blindly. It is something you use. A force you turn into discipline, identity, and clarity. But to use pain as a weapon, you must follow a process, a method that keeps you sharp instead of crushed. The first step is recognition. You must see pain for what it is, information. Pain is feedback. Pain is communication. Pain is your mind telling you where the weakness lives. Do not fear it. Listen to it. Learn from it. The second step is acceptance. Do not fight the existence of pain. Do not ask, why me? Do not pretend that difficulty should not happen. Pain becomes heavier when you resist the fact that it is part of becoming stronger. The third step is containment. Do not let pain spread. When discomfort hits, focus your mind on the exact moment, the exact breath, the exact action in front of you. Suffering grows when you let your mind wander into the future. The fourth step is direction. Pain must lead somewhere. Use it to push forward. Turn it into effort. Turn it into focus. Turn it into momentum. Pain is wasted when you let it freeze you. Pain becomes power when you let it move you. The fifth step is channeling. Direct the energy pain generates. The tension, the frustration, the burning. into a clear action. Strike, pull, lift, endure. Transform the emotion into motion. The sixth step is separation. You must learn to separate what hurts from who you are. Pain is not identity. Pain is a moment, a sensation, a signal. You can feel pain without becoming it. You can hurt without collapsing. The seventh step is reframing. Pain is not the enemy. Weakness is. Pain is simply revealing where the work must be done. Once you see pain as direction instead of punishment, you stop running and start improving. The eighth step is endurance. Not passive suffering, active endurance. Holding yourself together with intention, breathing with control, taking each moment one at a time without falling into panic. The ninth step is integration. Let pain reshape you. Let it rewrite your thresholds. Let it teach your mind that you can survive more than you ever believed. This is where strength forms, not in the moment of pain, but in the moment after you refuse to quit. The 10th step is repetition. Pain used once is only an experience. Pain used repeatedly becomes transformation. Every encounter with controlled discomfort adds another layer to your character. The 11th step is command. Tell yourself, I am not losing to this. I control this moment. I endure because I choose to. Your words shape your state. Your state shapes your action. Your action shapes your identity. And the final step is ownership. You own your pain. You claim it. You turn it from something that happens to you into something you use to become unshakable. Pain stops being an intruder. It becomes an ally, a tool, a forge. There comes a point after enough pain, after enough battles, after enough nights when you refuse to quit, when something inside you stops breaking and starts hardening. That is when pain begins to bow. It doesn't disappear. It doesn't soften. It doesn't become pleasant. But it loses authority. It stops leading. It stops commanding. It becomes a presence you acknowledge, not a force you obey. You start noticing a new kind of quiet, not silence from the world, silence from within. The noise of doubt fades. The noise of fear weakens. The noise of excuses loses its grip. Pain still speaks, but you speak louder. Pain still pushes, but you push back. Pain still tests you, but you no longer tremble under its pressure. The battlefield shifts. You are no longer prey. You are the one who stands. There is a moment when you realize you do not rise because you feel strong. You rise because rising has become your nature. Pain no longer controls your choices. It confirms them. It becomes the signal that you are on the right path. Your reactions slow. Your breathing steadies. Your mind stops collapsing at the first sign of struggle. You stand differently, walk differently, move differently. Not because life became easier, but because you became more difficult to break. You begin to recognize that pain has been shaping you in ways you could not see. You think back to the version of yourself who avoided discomfort, who collapsed under tension, who hated adversity, and you barely recognize him. Pain carved you. It cut away the softness. It removed the illusions. It stripped your ego. It narrowed your focus. It refined your identity. It built a structure inside you stronger than the chaos outside. And in this silence, you begin to understand something. The person you are becoming is worth every moment of suffering you resisted before. Every scar has built a layer of strength you carry into every fight ahead. You do not dread difficulty anymore. You respect it. You do not fear discomfort. You use it. You do not hide from adversity. You step toward it with a clarity that only pain could give you. And slowly, quietly, without applause or recognition, you realize you have become someone pain cannot break. Not because you feel invincible, but because you have learned how to stand inside the fire without being consumed. This is where the inner enemy finally bows. It lowers its head. It surrenders. Because it knows you are no longer the man who runs from the flame. You are the man who walks through it, and from this silence forward you move differently. You rise differently. You endure differently, because pain is no longer the barrier. It is the forge that shaped the strength you carry now.